ready, motherfuckers?
Remember, if you can't laugh at your God, what is religion even for? But that whole thing was so I could get a good thumbnail for the YouTube video. Luckily, the only neighbors outside while I was playing cult leader dress up were the noisy donkeys across the road. So this will be a quick summary of how things went in 2023 and what I'll be working on in 2024. Here's a pic from the edge of the property. It's an acre lot, and even though I've been clearing out areas, you can see how much of the dead wildflowers I still have to get rid of. Here's a pic of the main build area. Let's go over the failed and or delayed projects. The Sacred Grove. The 5 trees all died. I'm at the base of a mountain, there is no soil, and the dirt is salty and is more like cement, what is called caliche. That killed 4 of the 5 trees. Then the record-breaking heat wave we had in the summer, which peaked at 119 degrees, killed the last tree. And it was actually doing really well, too. To make you better understand what 119 degrees is like, there were actually lots of cactus that didn't even survive it. Fucking Arizona, man. Next, sadly, getting the bus ready to be habitable for that same summer heat has been put on hold. The seats in the back half have been removed, but it's just really far down on the priorities list right now. Here's the first small shrine I started. I got the base done, but had to use some of the wood for the chapel, and some of what they delivered was poor quality, so I couldn't use it for construction. It will eventually be used as firewood. The Chapel of the Black Abyss. This was never intended to be a full building with a roof. Think of it more as an easel that I could secure some of the big statues and artwork to. Though I will eventually add some more wood to make a couple large shelves and maybe expand the base a little bit more with some additional cinder blocks. The skeleton is pretty much done. And like a lot of you, the government's continued theft of the American people's money through their artificially inflated price gouging has put me in limbo. The price of wood is still higher than it should be by $1 or $2, but at least they're not still charging $18 for a single 2x4 like they were in 2021. The fucking criminals. But cinder blocks are still more than double what they were, currently at $2.28 per block, as opposed to $1.08 per block back in 2022. That and a big family medical expense cut my savings in half, so I can't drop large amounts like I was doing during 2022. I'm at a precarious point where my income and my expenses are perfectly balanced, and every time insurance or trash pickup increases by $10 a month, it's countered by all my side hustles, books, ordainments, squeezing a little overtime out of my day job, that kind of stuff. So I'm not in danger of losing the property or starving or anything like that, but I also can't really save up. I have to go month by month and literally brick by brick and see where my savings are every 2 paychecks. Building something like a simple obelisk will run at least $50, so making a decent large statue, even if it's just a blobby shoggoth, will still run at least $100 or $200. And don't sit on the couches. Since we're located in the desert wasteland outside of the city, I don't have regular city-provided trash pickup, which means I'd have to pay hundreds of dollars to a junk removal company to get rid of them. So they will also eventually become firewood. Maybe use them for a big bonfire when we have the first tentacle party. But I obviously have to get rid of the rest of the dead wildflowers around them so I don't burn down the whole neighborhood. At the end of 2022, I did finally build the back porch. Tried using some of that truck bed liner for a textured waterproofing. It half worked. Still needs a couple more coats to give a final judgment on it. The ultimate goal is to remove this old metal shed and finish clearing out all the bushes behind it. And then put a tiny home / log cabin back here for people to stay in, rent it out on Airbnb. If that works out, I've got plenty of space to put down a couple more tiny homes. But I obviously need to finish building up the rest of the property so that people will have a reason to want to stay at the church. Now, the inside of the main house, the church proper, as it were, is probably about 85% complete. I just did a bunch more work on it, and I'll get a video of that up on YouTube pretty soon. The altar of Shub-Niggurath is done enough for now, because I'll always be adding and changing things about it. And that's in the witch's room or occult library reading room or whatever I'll end up calling it. But the last 15% will also be slow going right now. Still a bunch of trim to put on, add a couple more tapestries here, finish up another altar over there, get a couple custom printed Cthulhu area rugs, things like that. But all the little stuff starts adding up, so I can't let spending get away from me. And finally we come to the human sacrifice pit. I mean, the fire pit. Though we could use it for funeral pyres, it can accommodate a human being up to 7 foot 2 inches. But I used up the last of the cinder blocks and finished it New Year's Day. The plan is to start making some blasphemous idols myself and firing them in an open pit, just like those twisted bastards down in Louisiana would have done. Because clay is still super cheap, and if people want to buy some of them on Etsy, it will generate extra income to continue building the church. If not, then I'll still have a bunch of one-of-a-kind monstrous idols to decorate the place with. And as was shown in the opening video, the back of the fire pit also functions as a pulpit. I'll eventually get some type of design or Cthulhu silhouette to hang on the front of the pulpit, but it will have to be made out of metal since it will be technically in the fire pit. And I have an incredible surprise I've been holding back for a while now, that you guys are going to love. And a lot of the little bitches in the other Lovecraft groups are going to fucking lose their shit over. I'm not going to spoil it here right now, but when I'm ready to officially consecrate the fire pit and the altars inside, and some of my Cthulhu idols and the property in general, it will show that the First United Church of Cthulhu is the real deal. Like they said in Return of the Living Dead,
what do you think this is all about? You think this is a fucking costume? This is a way of life.
Oh, yes.
I work on this shit every day, and I got nothing but time. So be sure to subscribe for more horror, occult, and Lovecraft madness. Cthulhu Fatagan, you beautiful, blasphemous star spawn.